here's something almost nobody warned you about the carnivore diet. When you stop eating plants for long enough, the bacteria in your gut do not quietly starve. They turn around and start eating you, feeding on the protective mucus lining of your own intestinal wall. And if you're a woman in perimenopause or menopause, that one shift may set off a chain reaction that recycles old estrogen, fuels inflammation, and makes the stubborn weight and the fatigue you're already fighting even worse. Now, I want to be fair. The carnivore diet can make some people feel noticeably better in the short term, and that's real. So the question I'm answering today is not, is meat bad? It's what an all meat, zero fiber diet may be doing to your gut and your hormones 6 months and 2 years down the road. And if you're new here, I'm Dr. Gayla Gorman, a licensed acupuncturist, naturopath, and author of What's Your Kryptonite? On this channel, I'm here to help you reverse the effects of chronic stress so that you can cruise through midlife and beyond symptom-free. Now, before we get into it, if you want the root cause healing guides I use with my own patients, they're free at drgayla.com/links. I'll put that link in the description so you can grab it after the video. In this video, I want to walk you through the actual mechanism because once you see it, you can't unsee it. So first, it's the fiber famine illusion. Here's why carnivore can feel good at first. When you remove all plants, you also remove plant compounds that irritate some sensitive guts, things like lectins and oxalates. For a person with a flared up autoimmune condition, taking those out can quiet symptoms for a while. That's the part the carnivore crowd is not making up. But here's the trade. Dietary fiber is the single food source for the beneficial bacteria in your gut. Those bacteria ferment fiber into short-chain fatty acids, and the most important one is called butyrate. Butyrate is what calms inflammation in your gut, feeds the cells lining your colon, and keeps your immune system tolerant instead of reactive. So a zero fiber diet starves that whole system. No fiber, no butyrate, no brakes on inflammation. And then next, and this is the part that surprises people, your microbiome turns cannibal. When gut bacteria run out of fiber, they don't simply die off. They look for the next available carbohydrate, and they find it in the protective mucus layer that lines your gut wall. They start digesting that mucus barrier. As that lining thins, the gut wall becomes leaky, and that's the doorway to a cascade of more problems. Researchers showed this directly in a controlled animal study where removing fiber led the microbes to degrade the gut's mucus layer and made the animals far more vulnerable to an invading gut pathogen. Shocking, right? But if you want the bigger picture breakdown of low-carb eating in midlife, you can watch my video that I titled Low-Carb Food Diet Hacks Women 40 Plus Swear By. In that video, I walk through keto, paleo, South Beach, and carnivore so you can see how each approach works differently for women over 40. I also explain why low carb can help with cravings, blood sugar, and weight changes, and especially when hormones and insulin start shifting in midlife. But I also show why the strictest versions like carnivore may need extra caution and monitoring. So I'll put the link in the description below so you can watch that next. And be sure to subscribe because I release new videos just about every week with more practical midlife health tips. So let's continue here. Next is the estrogen recycling problem, and this one matters most for women in midlife. Your gut bacteria help regulate the estrogen in your whole body through a collection of microbes called the Estrobolome. Here's the mechanism. After your liver packages up used estrogen to be eliminated, An enzyme called beta glucuronidase can unpack it again, reactivating that estrogen so it gets reabsorbed into your bloodstream instead of leaving in the stool. Plant fiber helps keep that enzyme in check and helps carry the waste estrogen out. A high meat, zero fiber diet may push that enzyme the wrong way. So you recycle old estrogen at the exact moment perimenopause already has your hormones swinging. The honest caveat, the enzyme biology is well studied, but long term carnivore trials measuring this in women are pretty limited. Honestly, they don't spend much time measuring or studying women generally because we're extremely difficult to study for this very reason, because our hormones are in flux over the course of a month, and it's hard to get a study of women that are kind of homogenous. They're all experiencing the same thing at the same time. So I'm telling you, the mechanism is not a settled verdict. Now, let's look at one specific study. In 2025, researchers, including several from the University at Buffalo, published a study in the European Journal of Nutrition titled Metabolomic Profiles of an Atherogenic TMAO Dietary Pattern Among Postmenopausal Women. Using Women's Health Initiative data, they examined postmenopausal women and found that higher scores on a TMAO related dietary pattern, characterized by higher intake of red meat, processed meat, eggs, discretionary fats, and lower intake of fiber rich foods, were associated with a blood metabolite profile involving lipid metabolism and atherosclerosis related pathways. TMAO was positively associated with the pattern in the discovery sample, but this specific association was not replicated in the independent sample. So I want to be precise about what this is and what it isn't. It's an observational study of a dietary pattern, so it shows a strong association, but it isn't proof that the diet single-handedly causes heart disease. But it is a real signal in exactly the population watching this channel, and it points the same direction as the mechanism. So I'm going to link the study in the description so you can read it yourself. There's also a double hit specific to perimenopause. Falling estrogen on its own tends to loosen the tight junctions in your gut wall. So you may already be heading toward a leakier gut as a normal part of this transition. Layering a zero fiber diet on top of that may push an already vulnerable barrier over the edge. So let me be the balanced voice here, because I'm not anti-meat and I'm not telling you to panic. If carnivore gave you real relief, I understand the appeal. And I want to be honest that the short-term wins are real. In one study, people on a carnivore diet for a few weeks lost weight and actually showed lower markers of inflammation. So I'm not going to pretend nothing good happens. The problem is what gets quietly subtracted over the long run. And there's a smarter way to keep the benefit without the long-term cost. You can remove the specific plants that irritate your gut while keeping the gentle, low irritant ones that feed your microbiome. That is the personalized root cause approach, and it beats extreme exclusion every time. And here's what you might consider subtracting. When researchers actually ran the numbers on a carnivore diet published in the journal Nutrients in 2024, the plan hit the mark for things like B12, zinc, and riboflavin, but it came up short on fiber, vitamin C, calcium, magnesium, and thiamine. Those are not small gaps for a woman in midlife when your bones and your nervous system already need more support, not less. And the vitamin C piece is not theoretical. Dermatologists have documented that on long-term zero-plant diets, vitamin C can drop low enough to cause scurvy-like signs, a rash, and slow-healing wounds within months if you're not eating organ meats. Yes, scurvy in this century. That's how real the missing produce can get. The bottom line, if you're going to experiment, do it with your eyes open and with someone monitoring you, and most importantly, not as a permanent way of eating. So, to better understand the hidden stressors that keep your hormones, gut, and metabolism stuck, grab a copy of my book, What's Your Kryptonite? It walks you through what may be keeping your body from responding the way it should, even when you're trying hard to eat well and do everything right. And make sure to subscribe for more practical root cause help for women in midlife. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Have you tried carnivore, keto, or another low carb diet and felt better at first, only to wonder whether it was something you could safely keep doing long term? Share your experience below. I read those comments to better understand what support you need most. And if your best efforts to live a healthy lifestyle and do all the things you've been led to think are supposed to work aren't getting the job done, you may even be feeling like you take 2 steps forward and 3 back. I have more resources to help you navigate midlife. Just go to drgala.com/links and watch my next video where I show you how to manage the toxic stress that's sabotaging your efforts. You can eliminate the symptoms that seem to be piling up in midlife naturally without medication, crazy diets, intense exercise, or any other unsustainable lifestyle hack.